In today's show, Regina takes the intimidation out of making sushi with her vegetarian roll. Guest chef Andre Leishan creates a beautiful and tasty tomato stack with sautéed tofu and shows how to make a flavorful last-minute dinner creation. Regina introduces you to the vast array of tofu products and its many uses. Today's healthful libation combines coconut and citrus to create a drink that is food for the brain.
Today's show is about taking chances. That is, trying something new. Now, for most of us, we probably have about a dozen, give or take a few recipes that are our staples that we make for ourselves, friends, or family almost all year round. And which is really a shame because, I mean, just my book alone, you've got a couple hundred vegetarian recipes, Joy of Cooking, probably a couple thousand recipes, and I have stacks and stacks of cookbooks. There really is no end to the imagination in terms of what we can do with food. However, I think we tend to stay away from trying something new because we're afraid of the unknown, and myself included. In fact, one particular fear I had was doing sushi. To me, it was sort of magical. I thought it took years and years of skill to do a proper sushi, and to do a proper sushi, it probably does. So I am a self-proclaimed novice sushi maker, but I want to show you just how easy it is. So today we're going to make a vegetarian sushi that has a little bit of a Southeast Asian flair because we're going to put some sautéed jicama in it that is sautéed in a little bit of hoisin sauce, so it gives a little bit of sweetness to it. But first of all, when you're doing sushi, the main thing you have to know is you're doing a different kind of rice entirely than what you normally prepare. Basically, what you do is you use as short a grain of rice as you can find, or a medium length rice. And you want to soak it in water for about a half an hour, so it absorbs some of the water to begin with. Then as you cook it, you only cook it in about say a cup of rice and a cup and a half of water, a little tiny bit of salt, and then you're going to let it sit there and steam. So we have a nice sticky texture to the rice here, just the way it needs to be for rolling sushi. We're going to flavor it with a little bit of seasoned rice vinegar. The nice thing about, if you haven't used seasoned rice vinegar, it's wonderful to have around for salad dressings and actually a myriad of dishes, but it has a little bit of sugar and salt in it. So it just gives a little bit of flavor to the rice. I'm going to mix it around. Okay. So we'll put the rice aside for the moment, and then we're going to start with the jicama. I already have the skillet heated up, and we have little matchstick-sized portions of it. And you don't have to spend too much time. It's not like you need to soften it up much. We just want to infuse it with a little bit of the hoisin sauce. So we'll use, about a heaping teaspoon of the hoisin sauce. And then we'll mix some water with it, thin it out a bit. You can see it bubbles up very quickly and starts losing its moisture. We just want to get this coated and leave it in for a minute or two. Okay, the jicama's all done, and we're going to start by placing this little sushi roller. You can get them at Asian stores, or you can get them at most cooking shops, even some health food stores. They're only $1.50, $2, so it's not a big investment. Then you need the nori, which is the seaweed wrapper. And dip your fingers in water. It's very helpful, otherwise this ends up stuck to you like glue. And you want to take enough rice in here to be able to cover the bottom 2/3. Okay, we're going to pat it in. You don't want it too terribly thick. Okay, it's holding together really nicely. This is just above body temperature. Otherwise, if you put it in too thick, you're going to have problems rolling it. Okay, so with our little creation today, we're going to have some cool and crunch from cucumber. Just a few little pieces of cucumber, little julienne or matchstick sized pieces of cucumber. And this nice hoisin soaked jicama. It softened the jicama up just a little bit, so it'll give a little different texture than this cucumber. And I like avocado, so we'll put a couple slices of avocado in here. Okay, now is the fun part. Start, and what you need to do as you're rolling this is continually tuck this in. This is going to be a fat one here, I can tell you right now. Is use the roller, continually tucking this in. Okay, and we want to moisten this leading edge because this is what's going to make it all stick together in the end. Tucking, tucking, really pushing. You can use a good amount of firmness on this. And continue rolling it forward. Here we go. Let's see if it turns out. If not, we're going to do it over again. Here we go. And you want to just cut off the ends here. Cut these gingerly. You don't want to rip the nori. Lovely little sushi. There we go. Look how easy that was. And really, I have only made it a few times. I get lazy myself. So now we'll put this on a pretty little plate and then we're going to make a dipping sauce for it. Okay, now we're going to make our dipping sauce for these lovely little vegetarian sushi. We start with shoyu. I like to use shoyu rather than soy sauce, which is an aged fermented soy sauce, much more mellow and rich in flavor. And then again, some seasoned rice vinegar. And we're not putting exact amounts in here right now. It's roughly a 3-to-1 ratio. And then we have some grated ginger. And we're going to put it in one of these little, you can put it in cheesecloth. We just happen to have these little bouquet garni sacks here. Makes it really easy. And then we'll just squeeze a little bit of ginger in here. There we go. And finally, a little heat from some chili oil and some sesame oil. And that should do it. And that's it. We put it in this lovely little bowl and voila. Our sushi's ready to go. And in just a moment, we're going to come back with our healthful libation. And today it's going to have a little bit of an Asian flair to it. And we're going to look at essential fatty acids. The point of today's healthful libation is to incorporate the use of essential fatty acids. Now, they're called essential fatty acids because they are essential. Omega-3s and omega-6s, the body needs them. You need them not only to protect the heart, but for brain functioning, even for your hair and your skin. Got to keep the coat shiny. So what we're going to do is put this particular one in this drink today that has a little bit of an Asian flair. It has almond and coconut in it. It's a little different than what we normally do. And the reason for that is it's one easy way to camouflage the flavor of the essential fatty acids, which are usually from flaxseed oil. The problem with flax oil is it tastes a little bit like cod liver oil, which you can use as well. So some people don't mind the flavor of flax oil. It's much milder. I'm joking a little bit, but I don't care for the flavor of the flax oil, so I like to disguise it. Bananas, nuts, coconut, any of these are really good ways to disguise it. Okay, we'll begin with a little bit of almond milk. I like the light, fresh, sweet. It's really sweet, naturally sweet. I don't mean sugary, just fresh and sweet milk. And to give it its exotic flavor, we're putting a little bit of coconut milk in this one. There we go, about a quarter of a cup of coconut milk. And we're going to get the sweetening this time. You can use all different sweeteners. Because this is sort of traditionally used, for example, like in a Thai coffee, we're going to use some sweetened condensed milk here. And we'll go for a couple tablespoons of that. Sweeten it up. And then this next part's a little bit of an experiment. I wanted to see what it would be like with a little flaked coconut in it because I like a little chewy texture in the bottom. First, a small handful of almonds, which I use regularly, about this much. That's common for me to use in a smoothie each day with banana and whatnot. And then a little bit of shredded coconut, just a little bit for flavor. This is unsweetened, by the way. We already have the sweetener in there. And a little bit of almond flavoring, just because I love it. I use almond and vanilla in most smoothies. Almond or vanilla in most smoothies, I should say. And then finally, we'll pour in about a tablespoon of this essential oil blend with omega-3s and 6s. A few ice cubes, and we're ready to go. Okay. I'm always experimenting with smoothies because it's a part of my daily diet. Let's see what this one's like. Smells good. That's really nice. You can't taste the essential oil at all, and this is good. You don't even have to tell anybody there's anything healthful about this one. This just plain tastes good. We have a very special guest with us today, Andre Lachien. And you're in a really enviable position for a chef, and that is you've had fabulous experience in Southern California with restaurants and all that. And now all these different people want to hire him to open up new restaurants. And you're in that luxurious position of deciding, which way am I going to go?
Exactly.
And so I can see why. You do some fabulous recipes, and we're doing a tofu tomato stack here today?
Exactly.
Okay, so you can start telling us about it.
Well, we're going to use today extra virgin olive oil, balsamic vinegar, soy sauce, sesame oil, onions, shallot, garlic, pepper, salt, cilantro, mint. But first of all,
cilantro mint.
Cilantro mint. But we're going to cook the tofu first.
Okay.
So we're going to put a little bit of oil. So the tofu, what we need to do, it's just lightly, sautéed, not too crunchy around, because then after you don't have this soft feel anymore. And when this is going to be hot, we're going to do the mixture.
Okay.
The mixture, we're going to put 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. What did that one is?
That one you said balsamic, didn't you? We have balsamic and soy right next to each other. It's hard to tell the two apart, but if you don't sniff
balsamic, soy sauce, little bit, sesame oil.
Little bit. How can we go wrong with these ingredients?
Let's wait and taste. Two spoons.
Okay.
Half coffee spoon of shallot, garlic, 1 spoon of garlic, pepper, then a little bit of salt.
Okay.
Don't put too much salt because we already have the soy sauce. And then the mixture of the mint and cilantro.
Okay.
I'll put all
a
of
mixture of the two.
Mixture of two. And now, this kind of tomato, taste this. This is they grew here. It's really, really good tomatoes.
This could be embarrassing. You know which way the seeds and the juice goes when you bite right in.
Everything.
All right.
Everything. And we're gonna put a little bit of tomatoes diced. Nice tomato from the red market. I think it's one of the best produce they have around here.
That is a superb tomato.
Now the tofu, we gotta cook the tofu.
Now you know what I heard about you?
No.
You don't like the repetition thing.
What's mean?
When you're developing recipes, you just do it once, it's done, and that's it.
Yes, because I don't like to do recipe and keep it rolling for months to. No, it's
boring.
Just change, yeah, exactly, boring.
Okay. Now is this going to be served fresh or?
Appetizer, because here it's too hot, so I do this dish for this town.
For this town, okay.
For this town because it's really, it's hot.
Do you need any of these? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Over. Oh, you're doing a little mold. This will be a nice presentation. And this, okay, chefs always do these stacking things and then we try them at home and they fall over. Is this going to be another one of those?
Oh no, this one gonna stay really nice.
It's gonna stay.
Really,
we'll
really
see.
nice.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Very nice.
Then after
Squeezing
you
all the
put
moisture
it
out.
back.
So you really want to top it so you can have a chance to pat it down and squeeze out the moisture. Ooh, this is saturated.
Can I have the big one now?
Big plate.
Thank you.
Oh, look at it.
What is that?
It didn't collapse. Yes. Oh, yes, but we're not done yet. We haven't added the tofu.
Now we're going to place the tofu on the plate.
I like little embedded peppercorns in it.
Exactly. The peppercorn is popular when you're going to eat it, and it gives a little bit of flavor.
Ah.
So now,
Okay.
we're not finished yet.
We're not finished
One
yet.
spoon around. Balsamic.
Little balsamic. Okay.
Little soy sauce.
So now we can get the lime juice
Now we
in
get the
here. Okay.
Just a little bit of lime. Now,
These are nice. Now what?
spaghetti.
Oh, these are just spaghetti. Okay. Have they been
Boom.
toasted?
They
Are they
just
toasted or-
just fry.
Oh, just fried.
Light,
Okay.
lightly fry, and rosemary.
So this is vertical that even we home chefs can do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look at this is beautiful.
Flour.
It's just gorgeous. Now, is this how you would actually
And-
serve it in the restaurant?
Exactly. That's how we serve
Just
that.
lovely. And everything is edible?
Everything is edible.
Little bit of basil.
Little bit of basil.
Love it. What's this for?
This one. For me?
Okay. Now,
Et voilà.
et voila, this is absolutely beautiful. Now we're going to go to New Frontier Market for a little field trip where we'll take a look at the tofu and tempeh aisle because there are a lot of new options out there available. One of the most indispensable foods in the vegetarian diet is tofu because it has protein. And that's the one thing that's difficult to get when you're depending primarily on a plant-based diet. So we're going to take a look at a number of tofus here today, both natural and baked and already seasoned. What you have to look for, these first of all are all packed in water and then they're dated. And if you're going to go at all past that date, which I don't recommend, you need to make sure that you change the water every day because it will start souring from this point on and sometimes even before. So just make sure to keep the water fresh in your tofu if you're not going to use it right away. The only real consideration you have here is the firmness. Here you see we have an extra firm, which is very good for using in dishes where you're going to bake it or you want a firm stir fry. Firm also can be used in this way. Soft tofu is used more for, say, a miso soup where you want a silky texture on the tongue and a little bit of texture that still holds up when you cut it. And then silken tofu is the softest of all. Silken tofu is what's used in the base of, smoothies, anywhere from smoothies to, say, a substitute for cream cheese if you're going to be doing refrigerator-type pies, etc. Then you would use the silken tofu. Now, these are wonderful. I'm a real fan of the pre-seasoned, marinated, and baked tofus. I like to use them in salads, which we're doing in at least one of the programs in this series. Here you have every different flavor that you can possibly need. Honey sesame, 5-spice hickory. Here we have Thai, sesame peanut teriyaki, style jalapeno, Mexican style. And we have an Italian garlic herb. All of these are fantastic. I like to use them chopped up in salads, or you can use them in a little bit of a stir fry as well. Also use them for seasoning in any number of dishes. If you grind them up, they can be used as a meat substitute as well. Now, in addition to tofu is tempeh. Tempeh is a really high quality source of protein. It's soybeans that have been fermented and pressed into patties. Here we have one. This is a 5-grain. There are many different kinds. Some have vegetables, some are all soy, some have other grains added. Here we have a little rice and some other grains added. Nice thing about tempeh is it's easily digestible, good source of protein. Also, really versatile. It's a really good way to get kids to eat protein if you're going primarily vegetarian because you can put them in tacos, sloppy joes, chili, just about anything. So don't be afraid to experiment a little bit with both tofu and tempeh in your diet. And we're ready for recipe number 2 now. What is this? What do you call it, and how'd you come up with it, and all of that?
Well,
Share.
this recipe, you need to help me for that too. Because I don't know how many we needed, but so we're gonna do together.
Okay.
This recipe I came up with one night. I was at home, and my dear friend Terry, Andre, you wanna come to eat? I said, yes, of course I wanna eat. Can you cook it? Of course I'm gonna cook it. So I cook it.
Well, this is what was in the refrigerator?
Exactly. And just do it.
Okay. So we're gonna just
we
do
have,
it.
we have some oil.
Okay.
Let's do step by step.
Okay. Let's do that.
Can I have the oil, please, Regina?
Yes, you may.
Thank you very much.
Please let me know what else I can do for you.
Ginger.
Ginger.
Julienne. 1 tablespoon.
That's about 2 tablespoons,
2,
but that's okay.
2 tablespoons.
Just because someone has to write this down later on.
Onions.
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 About 1/3 of a cup.
2 to the cup.
Okay. We're making
Garlic.
this easy for you. Garlic. And we have about 2 heaping teaspoons of garlic. Now, do you want the shallots?
Shallots.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And we're going for about the same, about 1 heaping teaspoon of shallots, finely minced.
Then we're gonna put the tofu.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And this is a firm tofu. Is this firm or extra firm?
Yes, extra firm tofu. I think
Okay.
the tofu.
I think it's firm, just
It's
firm, not
firm,
extra firm. Okay. And now what happens?
Asparagus.
Okay. Now, has this been blanched a little bit already?
Blanch a little bit and shock
Okay.
in the ice.
Shocked in the ice. So you only want to blanch it for a minute or two, maybe two? How many minutes?
3 minutes.
3 minutes and then drop
3
it in
minutes
ice
and
to
drop
stop
in
the
the
cooking.
ice. And keep really green.
Okay.
Then the carrots, you know, for make that, you
I
just
like that.
use the, you know the peeler?
Yes.
And you just peel it.
Yes. Looks like pappardelle. Isn't that wonderful?
Pepper.
Okay. I'll take these away. And that looked like
Saute that.
about just a little pinch. And again, he's using the whole peppercorn, not ground pepper. Just a little pinch of pepper. And that looks like about 4 ounces of tofu, firm tofu. See, we have to say this out loud, otherwise we won't be able to put it on our website because we will have
Exactly.
totally forgotten.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. This is going to be interesting to see how this comes together with the flour. Is this cornstarch or flour?
Yeah,
Cornstarch.
This is a little bit salt.
Yeah, cornstarch.
Now the soy sauce. One tablespoon, 2. Just 2.
And the salt, you just added a little pinch, a
A
sprinkling
little
of
bit,
salt.
yes.
So you don't need any more salt, right?
No more.
All right.
Lightly sauteed. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit of
You need water for that?
hoisin. The water, I would like the water
Okay.
here, please, Regina.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So I've got a little bit of water in here.
Water.
And then
Twist
stir
it
this
up.
around a bit.
Twist it up.
Okay, here you go. A little
Thank you
messy.
very much.
Let me
Go
just
ahead.
drizzle a little in here.
Tap. Just
Okay.
it out. This is its balsamic reduction. It's
Okay.
half balsamic and half sugar. So you cook it for 20 minutes.
Okay. Nice, rich, sweet. Taste. And while you finish putting this together, we're going to go to our wine expert, David Berkeley, and find out what he would serve with this dish. Do we have a name for this dish yet?
I would say Terry Tofu StirFry.
Terry's Tofu StirFry. Go for it, David.
Tofu stir-fry. Now, given the singular nature of tofu as a sort of a standalone flavor, I always look at the ingredients to make a decision about what beverage to serve with the dish. Now, a friend of mine, he says that his favorite beverage, beer, never met a tofu stir-fry it didn't like. I'm going to stick with wines. And given the nature of the ginger and the garlic, the soy sauce, the hoisin sauce, and the balsamic vinegar, these are all really definitive flavors. I think they're too definitive for, say, an older, complex wine. I'm going to say we need to stay on the youthful side. And it can be either white or red, but I'm in the red wine mood. So I'm going to suggest we use a Beaujolais Village, sort of a youthful, slightly chilled wine. Now, Regina, Beaujolais as a region has a hierarchy associated with its qualities like any other wine region. Beaujolais Village is sort of in the middle. First of all, it's not as complex as the cru wines, the 10 of them, like Moulin Vent or Saint-Amour, and it's not as simple and frivolous as simple Beaujolais Nouveau. This is a wine which has a very fresh, youthful flavor. It likes to be served a little cool. It will not be offended by hoisin sauce, ginger, or soy sauce. And it won't offend your wallet either because it's about $5 to $7 a bottle.
So we started out being a little bit intimidated early in the show, having to roll sushi and all this, but you can see if you have a few basic ingredients here, gotta have some shallots and some garlic, gotta have a little olive oil. Just start playing with your food and you'll come up with marvelous creations. Maybe not just as wonderful as Andre's, but marvelous creations nonetheless. Until next time, thank you so much, Andre.
You're welcome.
Santé.
Santé.
To find out more about Regina's Vegetarian Table, visit our PBS online website at pbs.org.